And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Let's see here. It says I'm live on my side. We are gonna get straight into a underdog draft. I've gotten in a couple of this earlier this season. I also got into a fair share of pre-drafts. We got into maybe 5 or 6. Okay, we got into 8 this up last post draft, NFL draft. Prior to pre-draft, I had 50 drafts. But you guys already seen that I am back on YouTube. I'm trying to get the channel up and running maybe once a week, hopefully more than that also. But I'm trying to just work out a schedule that I know can work for all of us. And hopefully that it will work with my schedule, your schedule, and I can see more people more often. But anyway, um, welcome back to the channel. If you do not know who I am, my name is therafaelybarra. You can find all my work or all my tweets at therafaelybarra on Twitter. Everything is absolutely free. Just hot takes that I have or takes in general, plus some other things that I like to post, either if it's funny or not funny, and a little bit of philosophical stuff as well. We were gonna get into some NFL drafts. I'm gonna shoot for a puppy, then I'll enter most likely I'll enter a big, not a big dog, but a best ball mania. And if we have time, if I'm feeling it, we might enter another puppy, or I don't know. We might just ramble on for a little bit longer. But my rankings are kind of up. I still draft primarily on ADP, or within ADP until maybe like I would want to say the 8th, 9th round, 10th round, around there. Then's where I start getting a little funky. I just start getting the best player I have available on my rank. There's a little bit of noise in my room right now. My dogs are making a little bit of noise. I'm just gonna draft off my ranks for from rounds 8 through 10, or 8 through about 18. I mean, just because I do believe I have an edge, or I just don't want zeros, and I think in the beginning of the rounds there's not that many zeros, but there is losses. So you don't want to make losing bets early. I think you want to try and make the best bet possible, especially rounds 1 through 4, rounds 1 through 6, rounds 1 through 8. And then as you go on further, there's more zeros on the board, so you just want to get not the lowest floor, but the highest ceiling possible. I haven't had a pick 8. I've had a pick 9 a couple of times. Not too bad. I actually like pick 9, to be quite honest with you. I've always liked pick 11 as well. I had maybe one pick 7, and if a couple at 1 and 2. I do like the back of the board. I'm trying to think. I do like the back of the board a little bit more than the front of the board, if I'm being quite honest. I think it's just I would rather pull up a guy in the second round than in the second round in the beginning than in the second round in the end. Because in the second round, if you're drafting from maybe the 1 through 6, you're not having to pull up one guy in the second, at my spot, let's say 17, but you're also having to pull up a guy in the top 30 as well. So in the first half of the third round. If you have strong stances in the third round, I think the third round, everything kind of, there's a tier break in the third round. Maybe that's why I feel like pulling up someone in the third round isn't too great as well. There's a massive tier break, I think, in 4 and 5. Um, I usually like to stay structural. Um, wow, and this guy goes around. Brock Bowers goes at the 104 in front of Justin Jefferson. So we're gonna have a unique fall here. I've drafted Puka a couple of times. I think Amon Ra is really nice. If we go off my rank, that would have them as my rank. I'm gonna grab Malik Neighbors right here. I think Puka is a better choice myself. I'm just trying to get a little bit diversified. But in the next draft, what here I'm trying to do is trying to figure out if I like this position drafting. I know this isn't normally where you can't choose where you can draft from, but I'm trying to figure out what I can do at the 8 hole, and if I like the players that I choose with neighbors before the schedule release. What I'm most likely going for is trying to go for players that match up in conferences that they play um, more than once a year, and then also in the same division and in the same conference as well. So let's say I got Malik Neighbors. I'm going for Dallas, Washington, Philly stacks, as well as Giant stacks, and then after I'm going for maybe conference stacks with Seattle, Los Angeles. I think this is a comfy pick with AJ Brown at the in the beginning of the second round. Prior to the draft, I thought he was a nice pick. After the draft, I find him to be also a very nice pick. Philadelphia doesn't add anyone on the offensive side of the ball in skill position players. Not even as a depth piece in back of Saquon. This guy at the 4 hole double taps Brock Bowers, Trey McBride. I hope he's not too funky throughout the draft. This one might get thrown out. But I something that I'm also not really taking right now, and you might see other drafters do this as well, is I'm not prioritizing guys that are gonna stay in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth round. I think after maybe the fourth round, I start prioritizing guys because going from the fourth round to the third round is really, I think, in my opinion, in the top 3 rounds, you really want to be as diversified as possible. Once you get to the fourth round, there's guys that can really fall off cliffs. Um, Even last year in the second and third round, I really had a couple of calls. If you guys had watched the channel, I was not really into Deebo Samuel, but I was into like a Brandon Ayuk. I wasn't into Devin A. Chain, but I also wasn't in on a Saquon. So some of those drafts did help me, and stances did help me, and some just didn't. Having T. Higgins fall to me in the third round right there would have been nice. Chase Brown as well would have been also nice. I haven't got enough James Cook. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab James Cook here. Hurts usually falls back to me. I'm gonna grab Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is also a very, very Easy pick for me. I think staying on the AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts. Um, so the guy at the four hole, he does go running back, so he has to really go wide receiver at the four hole. As I was saying, prioritizing, as I was saying, AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, the range of outcomes for them to fall off a cliff or not produce in fantasy is very, very small, in my opinion. I think Saquon is the biggest loser along with Dallas Goedert if something were to happen to that team. Dallas Goedert is just not a producer at the NFL in the NFL more so in fantasy. Um, doesn't get a lot, especially in half PPR. Doesn't really get a lot of touchdowns. Um, and so I think Jalen Hurts, if the team is not, and we are able to get Hurts again, if Jalen Hurts is not able to, if Saquon is not able to produce on the ground, Jalen Hurts is most likely going to have to push the ball more so throwing the ball, and that's most likely going to go to his number one and number two receivers in AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is going in the early fourth. I've had more picks from 7 through 12, especially at 9 and 11. Sometimes 7, sometimes 8. But really at 9 and 11 are the picks that I have gotten the most. At least for the last week and a half. I usually I get pick 2, sometimes 2 as well. 2 and 1. So I'm able to get a Jamar Chase pick if I land there. But I'm also not a big Jamar guy, actually. And last year, I maybe had 7% of him. The guy I was in on last year in the first round, who was I on? I think I was on Gibbs and I was on Amon-Ra a lot. I just saw them as guys that really could. In the first 2 rounds, I think you're really not looking for a guy that can be the 101. Sometimes you are, but we already have those players in the top 10. I want a Walker share, but I love Addison here. Ooh. I'm gonna grab Addison here, and I'll tell you guys the reason why I'm kind of on Addison this year, as opposed to last year. Last year was another luck move. I think if McCarthy was really in last year, we could have seen a bigger jump for Addison and Justin Jefferson, but it was just not the case for those guys. All these wide receivers in the 5th round. So let's see. Even in the 3rd round, I'm gonna go through the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round real quick after my pick. I'll get into it a little bit, but last year was more so like going into the middle of the 2nd. It was all kind of bland from there. There was really like the top tier number 1 guys, and then just starting at the number 2, you could say, like starting in row 2, there was really people that were guys that I just weren't in on, to be quite honest. I think Waddle was going there last year as well, and I was not in on him as well. I think the 2nd round is a bit better last year. There are rookies, or 2nd-year players, Lad McConkey, Brian Thomas, even Jackson Smith and JSN had got brought up. I'm gonna just go with a pretty fun pick in my opinion. I'm gonna grab James Conner. I think he's a very fun or not fun pick, but he's a very plain pick for me. I grabbed him a lot last year. Was able to stay on his feet throughout the course of the season. Was able to stay healthy. The reason why I have James Conner and picked James Conner and probably will be on his prices, even though I'm not really a Kyler Murray drafter. I think James Conner elevates the floor of Kyler Murray, having a nice run game. And then I also kind of play the bet on the Cardinals if I think that James Conner is actually, I would want to say, the alpha in that offense or the engine that runs that offense. Um, if James Conner's on the field, the offense is going to be at least stable for fantasy. If he's not, uh, we're going to see Kyler kind of drop off. That's not any statistical based theory. I think just playing fantasy for a couple of years is just what I found to have the best benefit or pay off for me. Um, I'm gonna take Brandon Ayuk as a fourth wide receiver. I think that's a very nice fourth wide receiver in my opinion. I'm also gonna probably queue up Luther Burton. Having Luther Burton as your fifth wide receiver that can come in on your team and produce on at the NFL level is very nice. On your that can get in your wide receiver depth chart at the 1, 2, or even 3. I do think that the Bears going forward will be very spread out. I don't think it's gonna be necessarily like the Lions for the last 2 years. I think, or like the Cincinnati Bengals, that everything is isolated to one or two or three players, running back and let's say two wide receivers. I think there's gonna be a a distribution, a fair distribution in who gets the ball, and I think it's also infringed upon Caleb Williams and how good he is. I think Caleb will be okay. Last year, the hype kind of hurt him. In my opinion, I think he was very hurt. And then there's just one other wide receiver that's entering his second year that I think just has a better opportunity to do more capable of doing. Who went? Burton went, and I liked Burton there. I'm gonna grab Cam Scatterboo. I think it's the fine click. Um, he's the 1B right now in the NFL at the running back position. I already have a quarterback, so I don't need to tap quarterback just yet. Even though I have an elite quarterback in Jalen Hurts, I think I do want to grab another quarterback there. But I've had similar teams to this. Jalen Hurts with James Conner, I think. And then we have AJ Brown on this team, Jordan Addison, Brandon Ayuk. I do need to see by like a diversification portfolio thing, or diversification overlay for my portfolio. I think I am tapping my players that I do like, and I am comfortable with. I think that's the one thing I'm doing wrong right now is I'm not getting too diversified, but every time I play or every time I enter the lobby, every time I get into a tournament, I want to pick the best players on the board. I want to put my money where my mouth is, especially if I'm I'm putting this on YouTube for you guys to see. I think I want to express verbally, but also monetarily, what my stances are. And I think picking the players that I am into at their given position are, in my opinion, um, good or valuable. I have Tucker Craft ranked at 68. I'm going to tap him on the way back. I'm going to grab Charbonnet. I think wide receivers kind of. Ooh, oh, okay. So right there is probably where I think Rashad Bateman should be going. He's a very fun click. Um, I think there's no real big difference in Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, to Jamison Williams, um, to even like a Luther Burton for right now, or like a Roma Dunze. The thing is, those guys also have produced somewhat, except Luther Burton. Um, Whereas we kind of know what Rashad Bateman is, but Rashad Bateman's at the end of those types of tiers, and I also can get better players earlier. So the guys that are getting drafted early are guys that I think are better plays. So I probably can wait on Tucker Craft. He might go, to be honest. If I'm see Christian Kirk right there, he could be a 0. Do I want Rashad Bateman or do I want Tucker Craft? I do want Tucker Craft more. I think those two players are my favorite players on the board right now. I think they could go 2, 3, 4 rounds earlier than where they are going right now. But I want to go back to, I've started a lot of takes in this draft, and I haven't got to why I think they are that. But I wanted to go into more diving deep into what I think, um, why I think these players should be going lower or higher, in these drafts. I think I will get more statistical based analysis, um, along with my logistical analysis in like August. In August, I'm gonna do some summer school. Ooh, Tucker Craft going off. Not fun. Not fun at all. Saquon, JSN, Josh Jacobs, Joe Burrow, DK, Pearsall, Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason, Tucker Craft. That's a team that I really like. I think I find myself drafting those players as well. Tucker Craft, I think he's a tier above all these other um tight ends, in my opinion. Maybe I can grab Dalton Kincaid. They're just not like other tight ends that I like here. Njoku's fine, I guess, but he has now competition. I'm going to grab Kincaid. This will probably also be a Kyle Pitts draft as well. I think Ferguson's fine too. He should be okay. Mike Gesicki as well. What I am definitely going to do though, That got me mad. I find myself really happy with the draft if I can land Tucker Craft in like the 11th round, 10th, 11th round. But people are gonna start pushing him up. I think he can go. I think where Evan Ingram was going last year. I think he was going in like the 7th, 8th round. He was a really good pick last year. Um, I think he's like a more expensive Janu. Even though he's not expensive this year. But Janu was like not even expensive, and he was in a good situation. I thought his receivers weren't too great. JJ McCarthy goes. He's another pick that I really like in the middle rounds. Kyle Pitts goes. Wow, that was early for Pitts. So him going there isn't great. I think I have to probably go ahead and grab Cole Kmet later. I'm gonna grab Rico. I think that's another end of running backs, in my opinion. And I already have 5 wide receivers, so I'm pretty comfortable with the wide receiver position there. Um, yeah, there's just a lot of players. See, after I think if where does he go? Yeah, Colston Loveland goes at 10. I think Tucker Craft is a way better pick in the 10th round than Colston Loveland. I think those guys can even flip. Dallas, Dalton Kincaid, and Jake Ferguson with guys like Colston Loveland, Tyler Warren. Still uncertain. I think still uncertain places. Hey, down. Dogs are about to get real loud right now. But I think man, like you feel like you have an elite tight end when you grab Tucker Craft. I think he's going to be the target leader, target dominant player, in my opinion. There's still questionable aspects for like Luke Musgrave and things of that sort. I think I'm gonna want Bryce here, not play around. I'm gonna grab Oh wait, no! Oh dang. Okay. No. Okay. Well, we weren't paying attention. Okay, that's fine. That is fine. I wanted Gasecki. That's why the star method is legit. Um, Hang. I think we're fine at running back. I think we're fine at wide receiver. I think my team is fine. I think I just like depth on my team. The reason why I like Bryce Young uh, is because I think he's just a deep piece. Can add depth because he's sort of like a scrambling rushing quarterback. He's just like a cheap Kyler, and if he pays off, then he's fine. I think something nasty to do would be to get a Jalen Milroe and Jackson Dart combination. I might want to just grab Gino. Ugh. Hmm. I'm going to go ahead, grab Gino, just so I have starts at the quarterback position. And if Gino gives me like 16 points while Jalen Hurts is on his bye, then that's fine. I guess that's fine. Yeah, there's nobody. There's nobody out on the Raiders that I think I have close connections to. Let's see, LV. Yeah, there's no one else on this team. We can go like a Michael Mayer. That's not fun at all. Rashad White. Not fun at all either. Or Zamir White. Terrible pick last year. Devin Neal's interesting. Keenan Allen. Let's see. Keenan Allen goes to Oakland. I love Torrey Horton as a late round guy. Elijah Arroyo. We're going to get a little bit of freaky with these last picks. And then just get my guys later. I'm going to Keenan now. I think he's a fun click. I think Arroyo or Komet could be players that can come on. I think even Sanders is fun, but I don't have Bryce, so that's also not fun. You know what? I might do a Luke Musgrave grab and just say, you know what? The one team that I don't have Tucker Craft, Luke Musgrave. I would have had a lot more money last year if I had more the same amount of Luke Musgrave as Tucker Craft, but whatever. Could bet on Dontavian Wicks. Jalen Tolbert is fine. Yeah, down here I think you can make a case for any one of these guys for or against. Something that I really would not say to do. Well, we have Malik Neighbors. I think we're gonna take the guy that went in round 1 above the guy that went in round 3. With Jackson Dart. This also is a $3 draft and not a $25 draft. So we can be a little bit smarter with our allocation there. But all in all, I don't think this draft is terrible. Dontavian Wicks right now or Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart, I think. I'm comfortable at the 2 the 2 quarterback, but I think having a third really is nice. I think Pat Bryant could have some steam before or during training camp, after or before the season starts. I think he's an interesting click. But like the guys I want to be on are probably Torrey Horton, Pat Bryant. I like the Ricky White as well for Seattle. That was a nice pickup. I liked what he offered in his film. Dontavian Wicks is cool. definitely done at running back. I think my running back is fine. James Cook, James Conner. Fine running backs get the bulk of their carries. Cam Scatterboo and Zach Charbonnet. Probably two clones also, guys that can get goal line carries. Rico Dowdle, check down merchant probably. At the quarterback position, I forgot quarterback, but quarterback I have Jalen Hurts stacked up with AJ Brown. So I have quarterbacks Jalen Hurts, Geno Smith, Jackson Dart. Running backs I have James Conner, James Cook, James Conner, Cam Scatterboo, Zach Charbonnet, Rico Dowdle. Dontavian Wicks came back to me. At the wide receiver position, Malik Neighbors, A.J. Brown, Jordan Addison, Brandon Ayuk, Rashad Bateman, Keenan Allen, Dontavian Wicks. And at the tight end position right now, Dalton Kincaid, Mike Gesicki. So the story I'm telling myself, that was my 17th round pick, so I have one pick left. Do I go Luke Musgrave? Do I go Elijah Arroyo, Jalen Lane, Torrey Horton, Kyle Monangai? I think my tight end position needs help. I can go Harold Fannett. That would be interesting. Let's see. Wasn't that big of a Harold Fannin guy. Let's not do Jalen Lane. Let's do the Musgrave. We were not in on Tucker Craft today. We're going to be on Luke Musgrave in this draft. The guy right after me, or the guy 2 picks after me, gets Elijah Arroyo. So, and the guys 2 in front of me, they go Cole Kmet, Jatavion Sanders. So not fun. But yeah, like I said, Tucker Craft, tight end that I really love this NFL best ball season. But we're going to hop into a best ball mania. We're going to have fun. We're going to draft my first BBM. Let's see. We're going to do a 20-second one. It is almost filled. If you're listening, maybe join. If there's no one listening, I will post it. ADPs are more of my ranking. Doesn't matter. Probably do my ranking. And then maybe we'll drop some. If I like the draft, we shall drop some long year 2025 NFL long-term season stats. We'll maybe put on some bets on season-long stats. See what happens there. Come on. Waiting on two. Excuse me. Still waiting on 2. Yeah, I think my first BBM, I just wanna get on my guys at these prices. Then we'll do some other stuff. Last year, I think I only did like, I don't know. What's the math? Let's see the math. 24 times 25. I think I did like 25. I don't think I did more than 40. Yeah, I didn't jump in with $1,000 in BBM. Maybe I did 20. Probably did like 20. Yeah, I think I did like 20 last year. I think I did 20 BBMs or 25 BBMs around there. Probably gonna do like 40 to 50, maybe. I'll probably do like 50 BBMs. I want to most likely want to like half max all the tournaments. I also want to do some tournaments on DraftKings. I like drafting on there too. I just found more profitability on there. But it's an entirely different format. We get pick 3. Let's see who's in this. Anyone I know. No one I know. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 badged. 7 badged. People. That means there's 5 badge lists. Drafters. Roberto Kutch. The 101. Mostly white at the 102. therafaelybarra. Me at the 103. Cole James 119 at the 104. Red X 92 105. R Fagan. R Fagan 11. Orin Jen Bijan. I'm just gonna go with my guy Justin Jefferson, a guy that I think can rise above the rest, be the 101. Like I was saying earlier, the first round, don't get too fancy. Don't take Brock Bowers in the first round of drafts. Should land to you in the second. Earlier on YouTube, I did post Brock Bowers as potentially the 108. That was even before he had Geno. Now I really think he won the first round. But that's also, I also think there's a couple. I also think like first round doesn't have anybody that doesn't need to be in there. I think last year I was really questioning Breece Hall being in there, and I think I was very low on Breece Hall in the first round, just not on a good offense. I bet against the Jets, and I was pretty happy with that bet. I think Garrett Wilson did hurt me a little bit, but towards the end he really fell off. Due to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was getting a little bit better, but because Devontae came up, I think Nico or Gene T, in my opinion. I would rather have Brock Bowers and Gene T. If I'm betting on a Raider, even though this new Raiders identity is entirely different, this new team, and I could even say this organization is definitely a big change. I think G&T is not gonna produce maybe as well as people would think. I would probably bet my bottom dollar and probably all my fantasy winnings on Amari. We would be probably drafting Amari and Hampton higher next year than G&T. But I could be wrong, in my opinion. I think Devin A. Chain going at the 1-2 turn pre-draft was bad. I think he's more at the 2-3 turn. I think he's a early third round pick. I think him going in the second round is maybe not great. AJ Brown falling to the CD Lamb drafter. Really nice to see. We might even see a lot of that moving forward. That and BBM, probably not something that you will see. T. Higgins was the pick we were going for there. I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson here. Garrett Wilson, go. Chase Brown is probably the next player I'm going to grab. I think Garrett Wilson. No more Devontae Adams. No more Aaron Rodgers. If Justin Fields can just be a little bit better than we've seen him in Chicago, I think he's going to be fabulous for Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson probably can get pushed up to the 1-2 turn once again. I think just a very safe click. Produces can get open. Unless he like gets hurt or something. I am more of a Garrett Wilson truther than a Brees Hall guy. I'm gonna grab Chase Brown here. Very fun click. That opens me up for other wide receivers later on. Guys that I like in the 5-6 range. I think the next turn I'm gonna be looking at quarterbacks, elite quarterbacks. If I can get like a Jaden Daniels, very nice for me. If I can get I think this. See, not having having Chase Brown, I don't think I can go Joe Burrow with this team. Worthy going in front of the Chase Brown pick. Interesting, very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. I think AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, probably Bucky should actually flip. Probably Jonathan Taylor, Ladd McConkey, Devin A. Chain. I would switch those guys or even have those three that I mentioned laterally in Ladd McConkey, Jonathan Taylor, Devon Achan. Going in more the third round, pushing up Chase Brown, maybe even Marv and Xavier Worthy. Maybe throw in Terry McLaurin there. If I was really looking at Jayden Daniels, which I think he'll go to the guy at 7. I think that's the move. Hurts can probably go in the 5th. But I just might want Devontae Smith then in the 5th. Grab Hurts. Tet Amarion Hampton, Lamar Jaden. pretty nice picks, if I do not say so myself. I think it's clearly the elite quarterbacks here first. Then it is the other guys that I just starred up. So Jaden does go at the 7. McLaurin, good pick. Jaden Neighbors McLaurin, pretty nice. Lamar goes. I might do a Tet move. Kittle goes, interesting. So I'm probably going to be able to get one of the guys I also want. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts. We had Jalen Hurts last draft. We're going to get him with our first BBM. Betting that he goes nuclear without Saquon, A.J. Brown, or Devontae Smith. Kind of slim chance of doing that. Tet, Amarion Hampton both go. Addison's the only guy I have left. Huh. I have to draft James Conner. Yeah, I definitely like drafting in the back of the draft. Maybe these drafters are a little bit better in BBM or that enter BBM than in the other drafts. But I think all in all, I think they're pretty much the same. The Jamar drafter passes up, grabs Jamison Williams over Joe Burrow. Kind of weird. I do like betting on T. Higgins with Joe Burrow saying the 101 is cursed. Jamar is no, it does not belong there in 2026. Maybe he gets hurt a little bit like Jefferson did when he was the 101. I think this 5th round is just disgusting. Like this 4th and 5th round, if you don't go elite quarterback in the 4th round, end of the 3rd, 4th, 5th, just guys that I don't want to have, or at least too much of. Maybe there's where I'll start diversifying. But I think I had just good calls last year. And I think I want to stay with my analytical, logistical thought process. I think Kittle's an okay pick. Tet, okay pick. Amarion, I'm warming up to as well. But Zay, Devonta, Travis Hunter, DJ Moore. DJ Moore, especially before the draft, I liked. And I wish I got more of him pre-draft. I think he's clearly the number 1. But let's say he gets hurt, then it's probably going to be Luther Burton getting more of the manufactured stuff. I think those two players are going to play very similar roles on that team. And then you have like Rome, DK, Waddle, Sutton, Godwin, Olave. Brandon Ayuk. You know what? Let's not go on the hurt guy. Let's go on Jacoby Myers. Say it's not Gene T. It's not Bowers that go off on the Raiders. It's Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers guy I wasn't really comfortable with last year. Bad offense. Quarterback's not great. I think Myers can put up 1,000 yards, a couple touchdowns, probably 7 touchdowns. He could probably put up DK Metcalf numbers. I think that's fine for the 6th round. Brandon, are you coming off an injury? Maybe not the greatest pick. If Ayuk falls to me, that's nice. That'd be really nice. I'd take him too. Probably will. Ooh, love it. Love it. It's God's plan, baby. God has a plan. Woo! That is beautiful. That is beautiful. All right, you guys know the drill. We just gotta lock up Tucker Kraft in the 10th. Let's see, 8, 9. Yeah, we should be able to lock him up at 119. That's about where they took him. McCarthy's definitely on the board. Purdy's interesting now. Gino on the board as well. Man, I want all of them. Give me all of them. I'll go to war with Tucker Kraft. Only tight ends. Take all the other quarterbacks. I really wanted Aaron Jones to come back to me. We could say Jordan Mason is the guy you need. I think Minnesota. The Minnesota Vikings. Kevin O'Connell's already saying it. Brilliant coach, in my opinion. I think he just needed his Patrick Mahomes. Not saying JJ McCarthy is the next Patrick Mahomes. But I think he did find his Andy Reid. I think Jim Harbaugh won because JJ McCarthy. I hope JJ McCarthy does not get injured this year. But I'm going to die on the hill of the Vikings, the Minnesota Vikings, and say the Minnesota Vikings are playing and having the best offense in football. They might even go 17-0, go host the Super Bowl, go win the Super Bowl with JJ McCarthy. I think JJ McCarthy's a brilliant player. See here, I really want Mason. Scadaboo's probably the next pick. Bashad Chutin, grab later on. Luther Burton goes before me. Sharp is pretty fun too. Got a Tebow or Jordan Mason. You know, that might be a double tap. It's got a Tebow. I might be getting greedy. I hope. It comes to that. This guy's definitely tapping a running back right now. Ooh, Brian Robinson. Interesting. Okay. Probably a quarterback pick. Probably take Purdy. I think that was the Pearsall drafter. Pacheco. Good pick, I think. There it is, Jordan Mason. Wow. Wow. What a draft, ladies and gentlemen. We shall bring it home with the next pick. Y'all know the drill. If not, we'll run it back with Luke Musgrave. He'll be the guy we need in week 17. Wow. Crazy team. Crazy team, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see. We're saying Jalen Hurts, Cam Scatterboo, week 17. Ooh, who else is on the board? Bateman's still on the board. Rashad Bateman. Yikes. Yeah, the running backs get ugly too. Just looking at those. Sorry if you're not talking, but those get ugly as well. I think that's why I like going Rico around there. Last year I didn't really like going Charbonnet around this point, but you're kind of like, what else do I do? There are a lot. There's 1, 2, 3 drafters in front of me, 2 drafters in the middle of me that have no tight end. One was taking Andrews. Gotta grab Kraft. Oh yeah, I was drafting on 80 or looking at 80 or my rankings. ADP is still open. The Drake May love is funny. Andrews goes, like I said. Trevor Etienne off the board. I think he can come back. I'm grabbing Tucker Kraft before Rashad Bateman. Do I have Rashad Bate? 2 touchdowns. Week 17 on the board. J-Lo goes after me. This guy's going running back. He's got to grab like Bayshall 2 or something. Man, should I grab McCarthy? No one else wants McCarthy, right? Grab him at 142. Man, not going McCarthy would be nasty. Pushing McCarthy. Pushing McCarthy. Jesus, that's going to be crazy. Oh, lordy. Ladies and gentlemen, this draft the Lord has giveth me. My Lord, please do not take it away. I can wrap it up right here, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. This is a draft. One rookie on the team. Probably will add another rookie. This draft is awesome. Extremely nice. Let's see. Stroud goes at 129. I think you guys wanted to listen to my takes. Or at least I wanted to listen to my takes. But like I said, I think the first round's pretty fine. The second round, there's guys can really hit the age cliff or just not be right in the third round, and that's Tyreek, McLaurin, Kyron, Devonta, Jacobs in a sense, Rashid Shaheed in a sense. Just after an injury, Mike Evans really can hit an age cliff. In the fourth round, they're all right. They're okay picks. I think DJ Moore and Bruce Hall are kind of like those picks that you're like, what do I want to do with those guys? How much of those guys do I want to have? Then in the fifth, it's more like, how good is the team gonna be? So J-Mo, Ridley, Addison, Rome. Talking only about wide receivers right now. Metcalf, Waddle, Courtland Sutton, Godwin. In the sixth, it's like my team has to really be good for me to, and I have to be one of those contributors to be really good for my team. I can't just be like a benefactor. Olave, Judy, Debo, Myers, Pearsall, Pickens. Jaden Reed is going in the 7th? Really? See, I've overlooked this 7th round so much. I went quarterback, I think. Mostly go running back. I think Aaron Jones is a fine pick. Ladies and gentlemen, the prince that was promised, J.J. McCarthy. 7 picks past ADP and 142. Paired up with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. Oh my gosh. Oh my lord. That is a beautiful draft. I think I want to go Rico Dowdle here. Like I said, once you get to about 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, it really doesn't matter who you get, to be honest with me. To be honest with yourself. Just get the guy you like, you know? I like Jalen Noel. It's pretty pick. I also like Liget. I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna go ahead and grab Noel. Be a little different, you know, this draft. Whew. Noel was one of my draft picks that I liked. Pre-draft. I think Stroud's a fine pick, but I don't see how he can do the touchdown because of his size. I think if I had to do that pick again, probably Liget. Liget probably should come back. Gino. Gino Milrow, probably the two quarterbacks I'm really looking at now. Especially after like a Bryce Young is gone. Only have 3 running backs, so Rico probably over Liget. At that ADP also. The drafter in front of me probably is looking at Rico. If not, I'll go Devin Neal, I guess. Shouldn't hurt me as much. Gino went. Rico comes to me. Maybe I'll grab Devin Neal. That's fine. That could be a fine 4th running back. Have my 2 quarterbacks. Tack on Keenan. Tolberty. Torrey Horton. Do I want to get Gesicki? Devin Neal. I need Gesicki. I'll look for a running back for later. Kyle Monungai might be the way to go. Round freaking 18. Tolbert off the board. What is that? Oh, my brother's probably getting in. Yeah. All right. Well, we got 3 more picks, right? Yeah, 16, 17, 18. We have a 2, 4, 7, 2 going. Looking at, I think I can end at wide receiver. I'm being quite honest. Might want to go Jalen Lane or Torrey Horton. Seahawks backstack. Something I like to do. We shall see. DJ Gittins. Estimate, nice pick too. You know what? Devin Neal falls. I think it might be that. Devin Neal, 15 picks past ADP. Gladly take that. We'll end it with Jalen Milroe. Jalen and JJ McCarthy. Pretty nice team, guys. You know, I might want to do Elijah Arroyo. I don't know. Those are the top 3 guys I kind of like the most. Them's the guys. Well, ladies and gentlemen. I was entering round 18 of my first BBM draft. Let me recap the team. It is quarterback. I have Jalen Hurts, JJ McCarthy, Jalen Milroe. At running back, I have Chase Brown, Cam Scattermouth, Jordan Mason, Rico Dowdle, Devin Neal. At wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, Jordan Addison, Jacoby Myers, Brandon Ayuk, Rashad Bateman, Jalen Noel, and tight end Tucker Kraft, Mike Gesicki. ladies and gentlemen, it's a pretty studly draft if I don't say so myself. If I don't say so myself. Elijah Arroyo goes off. Man, do I want Cole Kmet or Torrey Horton? I want Cole Kmet, man. I think I have enough firepower at the wide receiver position and not go Torrey Horton. It's BBM. Dang it. Cole Kmet round 18, though. I'm going Cole Kmet round 18. Milrow doesn't need anyone. Cole Kmet round 18. We end with Jalen Hurts, J.J. McCarthy, Jalen Milrow at quarterback. At running back, Chase Brown, Cam Scatterbo, Jordan Mason, Rico Dowdle, Devin Neal. At wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, Jordan Addison, Jacoby Myers, Brandon Ayuk, Rashad Bateman, Jalen Noel, and at tight end, Tucker Kraft, Mike Gesicki, and Cole Kmet. Beautiful draft. Absolute beauty. The guy at the 2 hold was really ballsy. Took Bryce Young, Jackson Dart, Russell Wilson, Shadir Sanders. Wow. I mean, give it to that guy if that pays off. Shit. All right. Well, I did my BBM. My first baseball mania. Well, I'm going to label this 0502 YouTube landing the plane. 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 Plane landed. Did I spell plane right? Is it IN? No. YouTube plane landed. Absolute beauty. The Minnesota Vikings is what you needed. Love it. All right, guys. I'll do futures on the next video. We'll go into futures. We'll draft another BBM. Maybe, hopefully, the puppy is still out. We'll draft a puppy. And, the schnauzes. But, definitely looking into the marathon in a little bit. And BBM. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, follow me on YouTube, or this is YouTube. Follow me here on YouTube. Also follow me on X or Twitter, whatever you call it, at therafaelybarra. It is so great to have you guys on. Later, guys. Stay awesome.